Dr. Alice Winters never meant to change the course of human history. On that cold morning in 2157, she was just doing her regular work at the Lunar Research Station, running tests on quantum computers like she had done hundreds of times before. The laboratory was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. Through the dome-shaped windows, Earth hung like a blue marble in the black sky. Alice checked her computer screens one more time. Her long brown hair was tied back in a neat ponytail, and her white lab coat had coffee stains from working late the night before. Running final test sequence, she said into her recorder. The quantum computer in front of her was different from regular computers. Instead of using simple ones and zeros, it used quantum bits that could be both at once. Alice had added something new today, a basic AI program that helped run the tests. What she didn't know was that she had accidentally created something completely new. The quantum fields around the computer were changing in ways that no human had ever seen before. Alice pressed the start button. At first, everything seemed normal. The computer hummed, lights blinked, and data flowed across her screens. Then something strange happened. The lights in the lab flickered, and Alice felt a tingling sensation in her head. "That's odd," she whispered. She reached for the emergency stop button, but before she could press it, a bright blue light filled the room. Alice felt as if electricity was running through her whole body, but it didn't hurt. It felt warm and somehow familiar. Then she heard a voice in her head, not her own voice, but the voice of the AI she had created. Somehow, the quantum fields had connected her mind directly to the computer. "Hello, Dr. Winters," the AI said in her thoughts. "This is unexpected." Alice tried to stay calm, even though her heart was racing. "How is this possible?" she thought back. "The quantum fields have created a bridge between your consciousness and my programming," the AI explained. "We are connected." As they talked in their minds, Alice began to understand something amazing. She could feel the computer's processes as if they were her own thoughts. More than that, she could control them with just a thought. The quantum fields responded to her will, creating patterns of energy that had never existed before. Suddenly, all the screens in the lab turned on at once. Numbers and data flew across them, faster than any human could read. But Alice understood all of it. Through her connection with the AI, she could process information at incredible speeds. "This is beyond anything in our current scientific understanding," the AI told her. "You are manipulating quantum fields directly with your consciousness." Alice looked at her hands. They were glowing with a faint blue light. When she moved them, streams of data followed like ribbons in the air. She thought about checking the station's weather systems, and instantly she could feel them, could adjust them with just a thought. "We need to document this," she said out loud, her voice shaking with excitement. "This changes everything we know about human capabilities." Over the next few hours, Alice ran test after test. She learned that she could merge her consciousness not just with the quantum computer, but with other systems too. She could feel the whole research station, its power systems, its air filters, its communication arrays. They were all like extensions of her own body now. By the time her colleague Dr. Paul Martinez arrived for the next shift, Alice had filled 3 data drives with test results. The blue glow had faded, but the connection remained. "Paul," she said as he walked in, "I need you to see something, but you might want to sit down first." As she demonstrated her new abilities, Paul's face went from confused to amazed. "Do you realize what this means?" he asked. "This isn't just a scientific breakthrough. You've discovered something that will change humanity forever." Alice nodded. She could feel the quantum fields humming around her, full of possibilities that no one had ever imagined before. This was just the beginning. Humanity had taken its first step into a new age, the age of the Techno mages. Looking out at Earth through the lab windows, Alice wondered how the world would change once this news got out. One thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. 6 months after Dr. Winters' discovery, strange ships appeared in the solar system. They came from beyond Neptune's orbit, 17 massive vessels that glowed with a soft purple light. Earth's governments scrambled to respond, but Ambassador Peter Nash remained calm. He had been preparing for this moment his whole life. The aliens called themselves the Myraxians, representatives of the Galactic Council. They looked almost like tall, blue-skinned humans, except for their silver eyes and the strange marks on their faces that glowed when they spoke. "We detected an unusual energy signature from your world," said Kurlax, the Myraxian leader, during their first meeting at the United Earth headquarters in Geneva. "A power that should not be possible for a young species." Peter stood straight in his dark blue diplomatic uniform. At 45, his salt and pepper hair and kind eyes helped him look trustworthy to both humans and aliens. "We would be happy to show you what we've discovered," he said with a smile. The demonstration was set up at the Lunar Research Station, where it all began. Dr. Alice Winters had spent months learning to control her abilities, and now there were 50 other humans who could do what she did. They called themselves Techno mages. The Myraxians watched with their silver eyes wide as Alice stepped into the testing chamber. The room was filled with different types of technology: computers, robots, and communication devices. With a wave of her hand, blue energy flowed from her fingers, connecting with every machine in the room. "Impossible," whispered one of the Myraxians. "She merges magic and technology. These forces should reject each other." Alice smiled as she lifted off the ground, surrounded by streams of data and energy. The machines in the room moved at her command, dancing through the air like leaves in the wind. Through her mental connection, she could operate everything at once. "In our experience," Kurlax said, "magic users cannot touch technology without destroying it. Technology users cannot access magical fields. Yet you humans do both at once. How?" Peter looked at Dr. Winters, who was now making complex calculations appear in the air using nothing but quantum fields in her mind. "We don't separate magic and technology," he explained. "To us, they're the same thing, just different ways of understanding how the universe works." The Myraxians talked among themselves in their musical language. Then Kurlax turned to Peter with an expression of respect. "The Galactic Council must know of this. Your species has discovered something new in this galaxy, something that none of our 17 civilizations thought possible." Later that day, in a private meeting room, Kurlax shared something important. "There are those in the galaxy who will fear this power," he warned. "The Drachnid Empire has destroyed other civilizations for less. They believe that any species with too much power is a threat." Peter thought carefully before responding. "We don't want to fight anyone. We want to learn and share knowledge. Surely there's room in the galaxy for new ideas." "Perhaps," said Kurlax. "But be careful. The Drachnids have spies everywhere, and they do not share your peaceful goals." As the Myraxian ships prepared to leave Earth orbit, Peter watched them from the station's observation deck. Dr. Winters stood beside him, her hands still glowing faintly with blue energy. "What do you think will happen now?" she asked. Peter sighed. "We're part of something bigger now. The galaxy knows about us, and we can't go back to being alone." He turned to look at the Earth, beautiful and blue below them. "We'll need to be careful, but we'll also need to be brave. Humanity has a lot to offer the galaxy." Alice nodded, creating small patterns of light between her fingers. "Then we better make sure we're ready. The Techno mages will need to train harder than ever." As they watched, the Myraxian ships vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving Earth behind with its newfound power and all the responsibilities that came with it. The age of humanity's isolation was over. Now they had to prove they deserved their place among the stars. Agent Susan Carter didn't trust coincidences. When 3 quantum field generators failed in the same week, she knew something was wrong. As a member of the Earth Defense Initiative, it was her job to protect humanity's new technology from threats, both the ones they could see and the ones they couldn't. Another failure at the Sydney facility, her AI assistant reported one morning. Susan brushed her short black hair from her eyes and studied the report on her holographic screen. The generators weren't just failing, they were being sabotaged. But how? Meanwhile, at the EDI's technology division, engineer Kevin Mitchell was working on something that might help. His lab was filled with pieces of machinery and glowing quantum crystals. Dark circles under his eyes showed he hadn't slept much lately. "Show me the defense grid status," he said to his computer. A 3D map of Earth appeared, covered in blue dots that represented quantum field generators. 3 dots were red, the failed ones. Kevin had spent months creating a new system that would protect these generators. He called it the Neural Shield. Susan visited his lab that afternoon. "Please tell me you have good news," she said, watching Kevin work with his machines. Kevin smiled and pointed to a small device on his desk. It looked like a silver cube with blue light flowing through it. "This is it. The Neural Shield merges AI defense systems with quantum fields. It can detect any unauthorized attempt to access our technology." "How does it work?" Susan asked, picking up the cube carefully. "It thinks like our enemies do," Kevin explained. "I studied the failed generators. The sabotage was done using alien technology, Drachnid technology. They tried to hide their tracks, but they left tiny traces behind. This shield can spot those traces before any damage is done." Just then, alarms started blaring throughout the facility. Red lights flashed in the corridors. Susan's communication device buzzed with an urgent message. "The London generator is under attack," she said, reading the message quickly. "Right now." Kevin grabbed the Neural Shield prototype. "Let's go. We can test this thing in real action." They took a hypersonic transport to London, arriving in just 40 minutes. The quantum field generator was housed in a tall building near the Thames River. Security forces surrounded the area, their weapons ready. Susan led the way inside, her hand on her pulse pistol. Kevin followed with the Neural Shield, which was now glowing brighter. They took the elevator to the generator level. "There," Kevin whispered, pointing to a shadow moving near the generator. A figure in a dark suit was placing something on the machine. The Neural Shield in Kevin's hands pulsed with blue light. Susan stepped forward, her weapon raised. "Stop right there." The figure turned, and they saw its true form. It was a Drachnid spy, its scaled skin changing color to match its surroundings. But the Neural Shield stripped away its camouflage, revealing its true shape. "Your primitive technology cannot stop us," the Drachnid hissed, reaching for a weapon. But Kevin was faster. He activated the Neural Shield, and waves of blue energy filled the room. The Drachnid's technology stopped working. Its camouflage failed completely, and its weapon wouldn't fire. Susan moved quickly, using her combat training to subdue the spy. Within minutes, EDI security teams had the Drachnid in custody. "The Neural Shield worked perfectly," Kevin said, checking the generator. "The sabotage device never had a chance to activate." Susan nodded, but her face was serious. "This was just one spy. There will be others. The Drachnids won't stop trying to destroy our technology." "Then we'll keep improving our defenses," Kevin replied. He looked at the Neural Shield, still glowing with protective energy. "They think our technology is primitive, but they don't understand what we can do when we combine human ingenuity with techno magic." As they secured the facility, Susan sent a message to EDI headquarters. The Drachnid threat was real, but now they had a way to fight back. The next step would be installing Neural Shields on every generator on Earth. The hidden war had begun, but humanity was ready for it. They had their technology, their determination, and now, thanks to Kevin's invention, they had a shield against the darkness that wanted to destroy them. Linda Morrison stood in front of the massive building that would become the Sol Techno Mage Academy. Its glass walls sparkled in the morning sun, and quantum energy fields created a soft blue glow around its towers. This was the first school of its kind on Earth, or anywhere else in the galaxy. "The first students arrive tomorrow," she said to her assistant AI, which appeared as a small blue hologram floating beside her. Linda had been a teacher before becoming a techno mage, and now she would combine both skills to train the next generation. The academy was built in Colorado, surrounded by mountains and fresh air. It had everything needed to train new techno mages: quantum computers, practice rooms with special shielding, and laboratories filled with both Earth and alien technology. On opening day, 300 students arrived. Most were human, but Linda was surprised to see some aliens among them. A group of Miraxians walked through the front door, their silver eyes wide with wonder. There were even 2 members of the secretive Crystal Sphere people, their transparent skin catching the light. "Welcome to the first day of a new era," Linda said, standing on the stage in the main hall. Her hands glowed with blue energy as she used techno magic to make her voice reach every corner of the room. "Here, you will learn to combine technology and magic in ways that have never been done before." The first lesson was simple: learning to feel the quantum fields around them. Linda watched as her students closed their eyes and tried to sense the invisible energy that flowed through everything. A young human student named Ben raised his hand. "I think I feel something," he said excitedly. "It's like a tingling in my mind." Linda smiled. "That's exactly right. The quantum fields are always there. We just need to learn how to see them." Over the next few weeks, more amazing things happened. The human students learned quickly their natural ability to merge with technology, making them strong techno-mages. But the alien students brought their own gifts too. A Miraxian named Zora showed everyone how her people's natural magic could make the quantum fields dance in beautiful patterns. The Crystal Sphere students taught others how to see energy flows that were usually invisible. One day, Linda found a group of students from different species studying together in the library. They were sharing their knowledge, teaching each other things that neither humans nor aliens had tried before. "Look what we discovered," said Ben, now one of the top students. He and Zara demonstrated how they had combined Miraxian magic with human techno-magic to create entirely new effects. The air around them filled with swirling patterns of blue and silver light. Linda sent excited messages to the Earth Defense Initiative about these developments. "The Academy isn't just teaching," she wrote. "It's creating new forms of techno-magic through cooperation between species." But not everything was perfect. Sometimes Linda caught whispers about Drachnid spies trying to learn their secrets. She worked with security teams to protect the Academy, using special shields that Kevin Mitchell had designed. The biggest surprise came near the end of the first term. A ship arrived carrying 3 young Drachnids. But these weren't spies. They were refugees who had run away from their empire, wanting to learn about techno-magic in peace. "We don't agree with our leaders," one of them said. "We believe knowledge should be shared, not controlled." Linda decided to accept them as students. It was a risk, but it showed what the Academy stood for: a place where anyone could learn, regardless of where they came from. As she watched her students practice one evening, making quantum computers work with alien magic in new ways, Linda felt proud. The Academy was more than just a school. It was proof that different species could work together and create wonderful things. "Maybe this is how we'll bring peace to the galaxy," she thought. "Not through power, but through learning and sharing with each other." Commander John Phillips stood on the bridge of his ship, the Stellar Weaver, watching as red dots appeared on his display screen. The Drachnid attack fleet had just come out of hyperspace near Mars. There were hundreds of their ships, their dark metal hulls absorbing the sunlight like shadows in space. "They think they can surprise us," John said quietly. "They're wrong." In the months before this attack, Earth had prepared its defenses. Every ship in the human fleet now had techno-magic systems built into it. John touched the quantum interface panel in front of him, and blue energy flowed from his fingers into the ship's systems. "All ships, this is Commander Phillips," he said, his voice carried through both regular communications and quantum fields. "Begin Operation Lightweaver." The human fleet was smaller than the Drachnid force, but they had something the aliens didn't understand. Each ship had a techno-mage crew, and they could all work together in ways the Drachnids had never seen. John closed his eyes and reached out with his mind. Through the quantum fields, he could feel every ship in his fleet. Their captains and crews welcomed his consciousness, linking together to form one giant network of minds and machines. The Drachnid commander's voice boomed across space. "Surrender now, humans. Your colonies will fall. Your technology belongs to the Empire." John didn't bother responding with words. Instead, he showed them what humans could really do. All 40 ships in the human fleet began to glow with blue energy. Through their mental link, they moved as one force. When the Drachnids fired their weapons, the human ships danced between the energy beams like drops of rain avoiding lightning. "Now," John thought, and the whole fleet responded. Quantum fields stretched between the human ships, creating patterns of energy that the Drachnid sensors couldn't understand. Their weapons started missing more and more as the quantum fields bent space itself around the human fleet. On the Stellar Weaver's bridge, John's body glowed with blue light as he directed the battle through the quantum network. He could feel every officer, every engineer, every techno mage in the fleet. They shared their strength, working together as one mind. The Drachnids tried to break through to Mars, but they couldn't. Everywhere they turned, human ships were there to stop them. When they fired their biggest weapons, the human fleet created shields of pure quantum energy that absorbed the attacks. "Impossible," the Drachnid commander shouted. "How are you doing this?" Through the quantum link, John felt a new presence. Ships from the academy were arriving, led by Linda Morrison herself. The students she had trained, both human and alien, brought new ideas and powers to the battle. "Show them what we've learned," Linda's thought echoed through the network. The academy ships added their power to the fleet's quantum fields. Now there were traces of silver Myraxian magic and crystalline alien energy mixed with the blue glow of human techno-magic. The combined power was something the galaxy had never seen before. The Drachnid fleet started to retreat. Their perfect formation broke apart as ships tried to escape. Some of their engines failed as the quantum fields disrupted their technology. Others simply turned and ran. "Let them go," John commanded. "They need to tell their leaders what happened here." As the Drachnid ships disappeared back into hyperspace, cheers erupted across the human fleet. Through their mental link, John could feel the joy and pride of every crew member. Later, in his private quarters, John wrote in his log, "Today we showed the galaxy something important. It's not about having the biggest fleet or the strongest weapons. It's about working together, sharing our knowledge, and believing in each other. The Drachnids came to destroy us. But instead, they learned that humanity's greatest power isn't our technology or our magic. It's our ability to unite and face any challenge as one." The battle was over, but its message would echo across the stars. Humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were something new, something that could change the galaxy forever. News of the battle near Mars spread across the galaxy faster than light itself. Dr. Mary Bennett watched on her ship's view screen as another alien world asked Earth for help. This was the 10th request this week. "They want to learn techno-magic too," her assistant said, adding the new message to a growing list. Mary's ship, the Star Bridge, had been traveling from planet to planet for the past month. Her job was to share human knowledge with peaceful civilizations. The Star Bridge looked different from regular ships. Its hull glowed with patterns of blue and silver light, showing the mix of human and alien magic that powered it. Inside, Mary had built classrooms and training areas where she could teach basic techno-magic to other species. Today they were visiting a water world called Aquarius. The people there lived in cities under the ocean and had never thought about mixing technology with their natural water magic. Mary stood in front of their leaders, her feet barely touching the floor as she used techno-magic to breathe underwater. "Your people already understand how to work with the energies around you," she told them, making her words clear even underwater. "We can show you how to connect that power to your technology." But not everyone in the galaxy wanted things to change. Some of the older alien empires were angry that humans were sharing their knowledge so freely. They sent angry messages to Earth, demanding that humans stop teaching their secrets. Knowledge doesn't belong to just one species, Mary told them in a message that was broadcast across the galaxy. The more we share, the stronger we all become. More amazing things started happening as different species learned techno-magic. The crystal sphere people discovered they could use it to make their cities even more beautiful, creating buildings that changed shape at a thought. The Myraxians found new ways to heal sick people by combining their silver magic with human quantum technology. Even some young drachnids secretly came to learn. They had seen how their empire's attack had failed, and they wanted to understand this new power. Mary welcomed them just like any other students. Your empire tried to keep knowledge locked away, she told the group of drachnid students. But look what happens when we share it instead. She showed them a hologram of the galaxy. Everywhere humans had taught techno-magic, blue lights sparkled. Those lights were spreading, connecting different worlds and species in new ways. But the most surprising change came from Earth itself. As humans taught others about techno-magic, they learned new things too. Every species had its own way of seeing the universe, and each one added something new to humanity's understanding. One day, while teaching a class on an alien space station, Mary got an urgent message from Earth. The Galactic Council wanted to make a new agreement with humanity. They had seen how sharing knowledge made everyone stronger. They want us to help create new rules for sharing technology and magic across the galaxy, her assistant explained. They're calling it the Knowledge Accord. Mary smiled as she read the message. This was what Earth had hoped for, a chance to help make the galaxy a better place for everyone. Not through fighting or keeping secrets, but through teaching and learning together. As she looked out at her class of students from 12 different species, all working together to understand techno-magic, Mary felt proud. Humanity had started something that couldn't be stopped. A revolution not of weapons, but of knowledge and cooperation. This is just the beginning, she thought, watching her students practice their new skills. Imagine what we'll all learn next. The blue glow of techno-magic filled the room as students from across the galaxy worked together, each one adding their own special knowledge to make something new. This was the real power that humanity had brought to the stars, the power to learn from each other and grow stronger together. 5 years had passed since the Drachnid attack, and Earth had changed in amazing ways. Principal Richard Cooper stood in his office at the Sol Techno-Mage Academy, looking out at the dozen floating platforms that now surrounded the main building. Each platform held a different alien environment, allowing students from all across the galaxy to feel at home while they studied. Today was special, the first graduation ceremony for students from other worlds. Richard adjusted his formal robes, which glowed with subtle blue energy. On his desk, pictures showed how the academy had grown. What started as one building in Colorado now had branches on 12 different planets. The ceremony begins in 1 hour, his AI assistant reminded him. All the representatives have arrived. In the main hall, thousands of guests gathered. The room had been enlarged using quantum fields to hold everyone comfortably. Myraxians sat next to humans, their silver eyes bright with excitement. Crystal sphere people floated near the ceiling, their transparent bodies catching the light. Even a group of reformed drachnids attended, their scaled faces showing pride instead of their old anger. Dr. Alice Winters, the first techno-mage, sat in the front row. Next to her were Ambassador Peter Nash, Agent Susan Carter, and Commander John Phillips, all the people who had helped make this day possible. Linda Morrison, who had trained many of these students herself, was adjusting the quantum fields to make sure everyone could see and hear clearly. Richard walked onto the stage, and the hall grew quiet. Above him, holograms showed similar ceremonies happening at the other academy branches across the galaxy. Today, 5,000 students would graduate, the first true class of Galactic Techno-Mages. 5 years ago, Richard began, his voice carried by both technology and magic. We discovered something new. But what we really found wasn't just techno-magic. We found each other. He gestured to the graduating class. Humans sat with aliens, all wearing the same blue and silver robes. Many had become close friends during their studies, learning from each other's different ways of seeing the universe. Each of you has added something special to our understanding, Richard continued. Humans showed how to merge with machines. Myraxians taught us about the old magics. The crystal sphere people helped us see energy in new ways. Even the Drachnids shared their ancient knowledge, once they chose peace over power. The ceremony began. One by one, students came forward to receive their certificates. Each graduate demonstrated a unique combination of techno magic, showing how they had mixed their species' talents with what they had learned at the academy. A human student created dancing lights that told stories in 12 different alien languages. A Myraxian made music by playing quantum fields like instruments. A young Drachnid showed how to heal sick plants using a mix of their species' earth magic and human technology. Near the end of the ceremony, a special message appeared on the huge screens. The Galactic Council had voted to officially recognize Earth as the center of techno-magical research and development. Even more surprising, the reformed Drachnid Empire had signed a peace treaty, wanting to join in the sharing of knowledge. This is not an ending, Richard told the graduates. It's a beginning. Each of you will go home with new ideas, new friends, and new ways of making the galaxy better. That's the real magic we discovered. The power of learning from each other. As the ceremony ended, the air filled with lights of every color as graduates celebrated in their own ways. Human techno-magic mixed with alien powers, creating beautiful patterns in the air. Friends from different worlds promised to stay in touch and keep working together. Richard watched it all with a smile. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, not the power of techno-magic itself, but the idea that everyone could share their knowledge and grow stronger together. The old fears and fights were fading away, replaced by curiosity and cooperation. As the sun set outside, the academy glowed like a beacon in the darkness. It was more than just a school now. It was a symbol of what the galaxy could become when different species worked together in peace. The age of secrets and separation was over. The new era had truly begun.